Welcome to Confessions of a Parent Coach. I'm parent coach, mother of four, and your host, Ann Kaplan. This is the podcast where you will learn that even for parenting experts like me, there is no such thing as a perfect parent, and that fabulous behavior and amazing relationships are right on the other side of that realization. If you're working your butt off to do right by your kid, honor yourself, and go beyond the BS around you, you are my person, and this podcast is for you. Full disclosure, I'm a sometimes potty talker, and we deal with the challenge of raising kids here. This podcast is for grown-ups, so stick your earbuds in and let's do this. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Confessions of a Parent Coach. I am so excited to be here with you today, and I'm really excited because what we're talking about today is something that I find sort of like the key to everything with parenting. And that is this idea of when kids need to learn the hard way. Oh my gosh. I wish I could tell you how many clients and parents I hear from every day who are saying something like, God, I'm watching my kid struggle through this thing, whether it's tying their shoes, getting their homework done. Um, you know, I'll tell you an example from our life, which is part of my little confession, sleeping through the night, all of those kinds of things. And we know it would just be so much easier if they would take our advice or do the thing that we told them to do or ask for help, even, or all these things that these kids just do not have the skills or the wherewithal to do yet. And it is agony to sit on our hands, bite our tongues, and not do anything about it. And what I hear from my clients all the time is like, I've told my kid this over and over and over again, but it's like they just have to learn it the hard way. Like, why? Why does my kid have to learn everything the hard way? And that's what we're going to talk about today. And as always, I want to kick off our time together with a confession on my part. My confession today that might surprise you, actually. Y'all know I have 4 kiddos. My youngest kid is 9 years old. 9, y'all, okay? Not a baby, not a toddler, not even like early school age. This kid is in 3rd grade. He is 9 years old, okay? I am terrible at holding sleep boundaries with this kid. I have gone through this before. This is not my first rodeo. I have 4 children, okay? So I've already gone through the whole like sleep drama 3 times. My older 3 kids all slept through the night by the time they were at the latest, I'd say maybe 6 months old. And, we've always had clear boundaries about bed and bedrooms and who sleeps where and all that stuff. Now, that doesn't mean my kids don't come and snuggle with me in the morning. All my kids, especially when they were toddlers, they sleep the whole night in their bed, but when they woke up, they come and crawl in bed with us and snuggle for a little bit while we kind of got started for our day. That is totally cool. I think I actually really proud of that because when I was a kid, like I literally can't even think of one time that I was in my parents' bed. I was afraid to knock on the door if I had nightmares, to, go in there and have any sort of trouble after bedtime. So I kind of love the fact that we have this little open door policy with our kids. But Sky has taken it to a whole nother level. And when I say Sky has taken it to a whole nother level, what I really should be saying is I have taken it to a whole nother level with Sky, because it's completely on me that I'm not holding boundaries with him. Maybe it's because he's my youngest, whatever. But this kid sleeps in bed with me like, I can't even tell you, probably at least once or twice a week. And I'm not even going to lie, like I don't even mind it. The only reason why I feel kind of guilty about it is because, well, for 2 reasons. One, Mike doesn't like it as much as I do, and so I feel like I'm not being a very good partner. But then the other reason why I'm a little worried about it is next year our oldest kiddo is going off to college, and that means that Sky is going to move into a different room in our house that's farther away from us. It is not on the same floor as us, and this is not going to go down very well if he's still basically like, you know, attached with the apron strings at nighttime. So, anyway, the reason why I bring this up is because one of the reasons why I struggle to enforce these boundaries with Sky is it's twofold. One is, like I said, I don't really mind it. I kind of like sleeping with him. But the other reason why is because he gets super scared of the dark. And when he wants to sleep with us and we say no, he's so sad. And this feeds perfectly into this concept of kids having to learn stuff the hard way. When our kids are struggling, especially when it's an emotional struggle, and I consider being afraid of the dark an emotional struggle, right? Like there's nothing actually wrong here. Sky just has an emotional feeling about the dark and it is fear. And I'm watching him suffer because he has this emotional problem. It is really agonizing when our kids go through something like that. And we don't want them to have to overcome this challenge the hard way. Meaning, in this case with Sky, would be me saying, sorry, buddy, you're going to sleep in your room tonight. Even if you come in our room, we're going to walk you back to your bedroom. We love you so much. You can do it. We'll see you in the morning. And let him be sad and scared and say all of the things, because now at this point this kid is 9. Like he's not just like a little toddler crying and fetching in his bed. He's saying things like, you don't love me, I'm so scared, how could you leave me here when I'm scared, like all the things that make you want to rip your heart out. That would be letting him figure this out the hard way and get to the other side, right? Here's the thing about the hard way: the hard way is the only way. There is no other way. When we watch our kids beat their heads against the wall because they quote unquote need to learn things the hard way, and we want to make that not true, we maybe intervene or we give them a get out of jail free card, like I'm doing with Sky constantly. Or, in the examples I gave about, for example, asking for help when they're struggling or tying their shoes, even, we intervene. We say, oh, let me just tie it for you. Or we decide to call the friend at school's mom and say, I think your kid was a little bit mean to my kid yesterday, and we should probably facilitate a reconciliation between them. Or all the little interventions that we do, we're not actually helping them learn things an easier way. We're just helping them not learn things. The hard way is the only way. So when I decide to be a grown up and let Sky learn this thing and the hard way, which, let's be honest, is probably not going to happen until he moves down into his other bedroom. I'm going to own that. That is going to be the only way that he's going to learn. He doesn't need to come in my bed every night, that he can be alone and nothing bad is going to happen to him. The only way he's going to learn that is the hard way. That's the only way. So every single time your brain is telling you, like, oh my God, why does my kid have to learn this stuff the hard way? How many times do we spend explaining to our kids, like, I want you to learn from my experience so that you don't have to go through what I went through. We can't do that for our kids. They have to go through it. They don't get the benefit of our experience. The only way that that actually happens is we get to learn through our experience what is a better way to show up for our kids. And so they get the benefit of that experience because it has made us wiser and calmer and more sensible and effective parents. That's great. But learning these lessons the hard way, like we did, is the only way that our kids can learn these lessons either. We can't preclude them from having to learn stuff the hard way. So the next time you're about to let those words slip out your mouth, the next time that catchphrase is on your lips, I want you to stop yourself and remember, I want you to hear my voice in your head. The hard way is the only way. So if that's true, and that's a if, right? Because you might not agree with me, but if you buy into this idea, the hard way is the only way, then what is our mandate as parents? That must not be taking away this quote unquote hard way from them. What is our mandate as parents? It's to walk alongside them while they learn stuff the hard way. While Sky is scared and doesn't want to sleep by himself, I can be as empathetic as is humanly possible. I can validate his emotions. I can show confidence in him. I can really, really be loving to him, not frustrated or angry or yelling at him or any of that stuff while he goes through the hard way. And in the morning, I can celebrate with him that he did such a great job and that he has made it through to the other side. All of those things. That is this shift that you probably have already heard me talk about before, from solving to supporting. If we really allow ourselves to truly just be the support person, not the solving person, now it's okay that our kids have to learn the hard way. They don't have to learn alone. They have us in their corner. You just can't take away the struggle for them. It's not right. It's not possible. It doesn't serve them, right? So keep that in mind. And with that, remember, I love to answer a question from the listeners. Today's question is about kids missing homework. This mom says, what should I do about the fact that my kid has so many missing assignments? I am reminding her, I've already taken away her phone, all of these things. What should I do? Let's apply this whole the hard way is the only way thing. If you are reminding your kid to do their homework, if you're the one like kind of micromanaging and hovercrafting over their, online assignment list and all of that stuff, you're really taking the hard way away from them because you're doing the hard way for them. They will not learn to manage their time and manage their assignments unless nobody else is going to do it for them. So my suggestion especially around homework and things like that. Now, let me give you the caveat. If your kid has a learning difference, if your child has extra needs that they need support in terms of like managing their time and stuff like that, that's a separate issue. We still need to hold boundaries. I'm going to underscore that. Even if your child has learning differences, it is still super important for them to be in a really secure container where there are boundaries. We just need to make sure that the boundaries and consequences are at this kid's pay grade. So if your child has no learning differences, the standard answer is set up a consequence and a boundary around missing assignments, and then don't meddle at all. So you might say, you're welcome to have screen time this weekend as long as all of your assignments are done. You say that on Monday, not check it until Saturday morning. And the Saturday morning comes around and you say, hey, whoops, looks like you've got a couple missing assignments. So we won't be having screen time this weekend, or you're welcome to have screen time this weekend as soon as those are all caught up, whatever. But you really need to not just set the boundary and enforce the boundary. You need to step back and let them fail. Really create that space. Right now, the container you're creating is like the size of a teacup. They need to have a much bigger container inside of which they can make decisions, make mistakes, and experience the outcome of those decisions and mistakes. If you're hovercrafting, you're putting them in this tight container. Well, guess what happens when somebody feels penned in? Pretty soon, the reason why they're not doing their homework isn't because they can't. It's not because they don't know how to manage their time. It's because it bothers you and they are pushing against the walls of that container. So make that container slightly bigger, lots of room to breathe and screw up, and then hold the walls of that container by enforcing your boundaries. I hope that's helpful. I hope this whole episode was helpful for you. Really think about the hard way is the only way. I'm curious to hear if that's in the back of your mind running all day long, how you're going to show up differently with your kiddo when they make mistakes or when you see them about to make a mistake. The hard way is the only way. It's a mantra for you today. And if you want to get your questions answered on the podcast, I really want to hear from you. Just go to my website, AnnKaplanParentCoach.com, and use that contact form to send me your questions. And I can't wait to answer them on a future episode. Have a great day, everybody, and we'll talk soon. Bye. The episode is over, but there's more waiting for you. You can grab my free workbook, Getting Kids to Listen the First Time, that walks you through the fundamental principles I teach all of my clients and applies them to this very universal parenting challenge. So if you're sick of repeating yourself all day long or just want to learn more about my style, you'll definitely want to go to bit.ly/kidswholisten. And if you're ready to work with me, let's meet. Set up a free call at bit.ly/KaplanCall, and let's create an action plan that gets you exactly where you want to go. And of course, links to all this goodness are in the show notes. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you next time.